Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Susan Malloy of Silver Lady Stamping. You know, I can't believe that it's been 3 months since I posted any new content. Right around Christmas time, probably like a lot of you, I was like a house of fire, making all kinds of cards, posting content, but also just making cards for family and friends. And oh my gosh, I was just constantly having fun, coming up with new ideas and making cards and really enjoying it. And then right after Christmas, I lost all of my mojo and my creative inspiration. Just vanished. And a lot of times when we lose our creative inspiration, we'll go on Pinterest and you'll go on YouTube and you'll look at what other people are doing and see what cards they're posting and then we can maybe get inspired to make something like that, or you know what I'm talking about. But in my case, when I did that as a content poster, and it went in the opposite direction for me. So I was looking at people's Pinterest posts and YouTube channels, all such talented people. And I started doing that comparison thing, which is just the worst thing you can possibly do. I started comparing what I felt my abilities were against what beautiful things I was seeing posted, and I immediately started feeling bad about myself. What could I possibly have to offer anyone that they're not already seeing from some other more talented people? Well, isn't that just the worst thing in the world that you can do to yourself, is to compare yourself to somebody else? I think you've all heard it a million times. I know I have, that comparison is the thief of joy, and boy, ain't that the truth. So what I decided to do was, okay, if I was not having any creative inspiration and I was starting to feel bad, that I would just take a little break. So I gave myself permission to step away and take a break, in that awful post-Christmas slump that we get, because I live just north of Boston, so it's cold. And in the cold weather, and of course, we have more dark days than, we've lost a lot of sunlight. It's starting to come back now. But anyway, so you start to feel like you want to go to bed at 5:30 in the evening because it's dark out. So I gave myself permission to step away, and I literally put all my card making supplies away. I didn't even want to look at them because it was just, I felt pressure. So I stepped away and just took care of myself for a little while. Did a lot of reading and self-care, spent time with friends. And then little by little, I kept looking through the catalog, and then of course the mini catalog came out at the beginning of January. There was such fun things and pretty papers, which I ordered naturally, because how can you not? And I started playing with them. And so little by little, now I have made quite a few things of my own designs, playing with it, with a little bit of inspiration online. And one of them I'm going to show you today. So I'm just saying that I'm back. I'm feeling better about things, the more, I'm happier about playing with my papers and my stamp sets. And so here I am, and I want to show you what I've made, and I hope you're having a great day, and that maybe what I'm making can inspire you to either make this or something like it, so we can do this together. So this is a little bit different. It's not a typical card, that folds this way or that way. It's made of vellum. That's what this is. It's vellum. It's a vellum pocket, and it's you pull out a little card. Now I'm going to just tell you that this was inspired by someone I saw on YouTube. Her channel, her online name is Septeria18. That's S-E-P as in Peter, T-E-R-I-A 18. She's from Australia, and she makes a lot of really lovely projects that are almost like mini journals. And she made something similar. Well, this was my design, but she does make all these little pockets. And hold on, I want to grab something else, something that I made that was similar to, before I get into this, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping around, but let me show you. This was definitely inspired by Septeria 18, but I made it my own because she's not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. She just does stuff with, you know, products that she buys elsewhere, but I made this with Stampin' Up! Products, and this is from the Hello Friend, wherever the heck I put it. Here it is. Here's the stamp set and the paper. So this is from, actually from the Celebration catalog, which actually today is like the last day that you can get it for free with a purchase through Stampin' Up! And I should have posted this earlier, so this is kind of the last day. And there's also pretty papers, you know, that, which is all kind of cut up from me using it. In any case, let me get back to this. So that's what I used this from. But look at how cute this is. So here we have, it has a little pocket, and I have a little tag that says my friend. I have a little butterfly that I used. The die is from the Butterfly Brilliance, and the glimmer paper is from the Supple Shimmer. Let me see if I can pull this down. So there's, you get a pool party and whatever color that is, pink, some sort of pink. Does it say on the back? No, of course not. But anyways, pool party and some sort of pink. And I use the Butterfly Brilliance dies. What are the dies called? Brilliant Wings dies. And you get all of these butterflies. Oh, God, who doesn't like butterflies? So I made it kind of like an Easter card, sort of a friend card, an Easter card. This is from the new, oh gosh, what? The Easter stamp set we have. Okay, I got it. Sorry, I keep reaching around. From the Easter Friends in the mini catalog. And there's the little bitty baby. So I made that into that page. Then we have another page. So I have the doilies. I made a mini envelope. Super easy to make, and I'll post a video about that. I made a tag from, God, you know, all the little bits and pieces that you have. How many bits and pieces of Designer Series paper do you have? Good grief. I have so many, it's like I'll probably never use them in my lifetime. Then I have another bit of doily, which with the doilies, you can actually flip them over and, you know, and color them. You don't have to, I'm digging around again, sorry. Let's see, so here's the doilies, right? And you get brown, well, I think it's cinnamon cider. You get, you know, these are the colors. These are basically the only colors you get. Okay, sort of, let's face it, sort of blah. But when you flip them over, they're white. And that means you can use your blender brushes to make pretty much any color doily that you want. So in this case, I used Highland Heather. And then again, I die cut another butterfly from that shimmer paper. And then I made a tag. And this is a little pocket. This card was super easy to make, by the way. And I will post a video if I didn't say that already. So I used some flowers from one of our stamp sets and used the little butterfly gem dots that are in the catalog. Super easy, so you can just tuck that in or make whatever you want. And then I put some Designer Series paper on the back. that was inspired by Septeria 18. She's just so lovely. So let me get back to the one that we're making today. Like again, I said, you've got it's going to be just a card, and on the back, you know, I put a piece of white cardstock so you could write, you could write your sentiment on it. So, and then again, more of those butterflies. Just love them. So here's what we're going to, oh, and by the way, just so you know, it does fit into, this is like a standard card size, so it's 5.5 by 4.25, so it's going to, the whole thing is going to fit into a standard envelope. So let me show you the materials that we're going to use today. So I got them all strewn everywhere. So you're going to need a piece of vellum at 4.25 by 11, and when you cut it, and I've already pre-cut everything because you don't need to see me cutting anything. So when you cut it by 4.25 by 11, what you'll want to do is fold it in half, and I put on here, if you can read it, do not score it at 5. Normally we'd take our cardstock or and we'd cut it at 4.25 by 11, and then you'd score it at 5.5 and then fold it. Well, in this case, because vellum is so delicate, if you score it with your paper trimmer or even a scoreboard, it's going to tear. So don't score it. Just fold it in half lengthwise and just press it closed, and that's all you want to do. All right, and then we're going to need to, this is, so the other part of putting together our vellum pocket, this pocket right here, is you're going to then need, let me set that aside, 2 pieces of, let me take that off, the Friendly Hello Designer Series paper that I just showed you, that's in the Celebration catalog. And there's, you know, all kinds of different papers, right? You can see they're just so lovely, all different, let me see, different kinds. There's this one. I love that there's so many different pretty papers. Now, if you don't have it in the papers, or you're watching this after the fact, after Celebration is done and you're not able to get it, doesn't matter. Use whatever papers you have on hand. Or maybe these papers don't appeal to you. I would just say, look through your designer series paper. The paper, what paper you use doesn't really matter. I'm just making this project. I just happened to make this project with that Friendly Hello Designer Series paper because I thought it was super pretty. But literally, use whatever paper you have on hand. So whatever you're using, you want to cut 2 pieces at 5.5 inches long, because that's how long the vellum is, by 3.25. Then you're going to score it in half lengthwise, right, at 3/8. Basically, you're just scoring it in half. And if you don't want to score it in half, just fold it in half. So you got your 5.5 inch piece, and then now I have scored it. All you have to do though is just take it and fold it in half. That's all you're going to do. All right, that's it. All right, and we'll just do that. So, and then what we'll do is you're going to glue those 2 pieces on either end. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll tell you what else we're going to use. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to you want to put a little bit of glue on either side. And I prefer liquid glue only because it gives me a little bit of forgiveness. Which actually I think is an Eagles song, isn't it? Forgiveness. Okay. All right. And we'll do on the other side. Now remember, because this is the vellum was folded on the bottom, obviously Nothing's gonna fall out. All right, so you see we're just, once it's folded in half. Now, I will tell you this as well. If you have washi tape and you like to use washi tape, you can do the same thing. Now, I think the washi tape will be a little skinnier on the edges, but you could basically tear off a length of washi tape and just fold it over the edge, right? And then tear it off, and then, you know, just snip the ends off. There's such pretty washi tapes out there. But as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I typically don't, I don't do that. It's not that I haven't used washi tape. I have, but I really prefer using the Designer Series paper, and I want to show you how to use the Designer Series paper in maybe different ways, and this is one of those ways. So now you have your little pocket. Now, what I've taken and I'm using a hole punch because I want to cut a little thumb hole here, I guess that's what it's called. So, but you can basically use whatever punch you happen to have. So I'm just gonna take that, and I'm just going to cut a little, kind of a snippet, just for a thumb hole. Oop, there we go. It went everywhere. Okay, and so now you have so that when you put your little card in, you can just reach in and pull it out, and if there's something else you wanted to tuck in there, they can just pull it out. But I just think that the little thumb hole makes it look kind of pretty. Okay, so now you have your pocket. You can pretty much do anything with it. If you had something else that you wanted to put in instead of a card, if you had a little gift, some gift cards, a few pieces of candy, you can just use it as your gift holder. So what I'll show you, we'll do this part kind of at the end, but let me do the card. So here we are with the little card, and it's kind of an easy one to come together because if you think about it, it's not a regular card. It's just going to be a one-dimensional card. All right, so what the next pieces that we're going to use are fresh freesia, one piece cut at 5 by 3 3/4. There's that piece, and then we're going to need a piece of Designer Series paper, kind of coordinating Designer Series paper, which is this. Again, this is the Hello Friendly paper, and this one will be cut at 4 3/4. Hold on, let me get this paper. So cutting it at 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Now, one thing I should tell you before I go any further is when you do I should have told you this, when you glue the edges down, right, use your bone folder to go inside and just kind of slide it all the way in. And the reason I say that is because sometimes a little bit of glue oozes out, and it seals the edge. It makes it smaller than it should be. So just kind of go in and slide it along the edge just to make sure you don't have any glue spots that need to be unglued. All right, so I just want to tell you that part. That's an important piece. So because this is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, we still need to make sure that the card will fit all the way in. And so I made it maybe a little bit smaller. Normally we do, like 5 1/4 by 4, but it kind of, when you put the card in, it's a little tight. So I made it a little bit smaller so it would slide in and out really easily. All right, so this Designer Series paper, no, that's the other one. is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and you're just going to cut one. All right, so we can just go ahead and look at how the back of it is so pretty. Sometimes that's the hard part, like which side am I going to use? All right. Put your glue on, and pretty much you can use whatever your favorite adhesive is. Like I said, just like to use the liquid glue because it gives me a few seconds of forgiveness so I can move it around a little bit. Oh, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And if you use like the Stamp and Seal, once you put it down, oh gosh, it's down. Whether or not you put it on sideways or not, you're done. Okay, that piece is done. Now, the other thing we need to do is, okay, I'm just referring to my card. So we'll do the strips. So you'll just use a couple of coordinating papers from that same Hello Friend Designer Series paper package. And you're going to cut two pieces, well, one piece of each coordinating paper, but you'll need 2 strips. And each one will be 5 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then you'll flag the bottom. Just make it into, flag it. Kind of gives it a pretty look. So we have these 2, and I've already done that. I've cut 2 coordinating pieces, and I've flagged the bottoms of them. And so now I just want to, I'm going to adhere them to the card, but I want to make sure that I'm not overlapping on the bottom, past the bottom. Now you're going to have, now you can certainly just glue it down and then snip it. On this one, what I did is I took it over the top. This one, I might just glue and then just snip it at the top. So let's see. And you're only going to just, well, first of all, you're going to glue them together. You got to glue the 2 pieces together. Okay. And then you'll just put some glue kind of at the top. You're not going to glue the whole, you're going to leave the strip kind of. Did I do it too high up? I might have. It's possible. All right. Here we go. So I did it sort of a little bit like that. All right. And then I'm just going to snip it like that. But, what you can do too, like I said on this one, I roll it over and then I put a piece, I had a piece of Designer Series paper I was going to put on the back anyway. So even if you fold it over the top, it's fine. No one's going to see it anyway. So, all right. So see, it's already coming together. Pretty nice. Then one of the other things that you'll do is to fussy cut the bird out of the Designer Series paper. Let me see. I'll pull that out. I'll show you what I mean. So this paper has, I just picked the bird. It's so pretty, this paper. And then this is the reverse side. Oh, it's just beautiful paper. And I just fussy cut the bird, one bird out, along with the flowers that are underneath. And at the same time, if you wanted, you can cut, those 2 as well. Excuse me. And you can put them on the back if you wanted to. Okay, so I already fussy cut the bird. And then along with that, you'll need a piece of pale papaya cut at 3 by 7/8. That's going to be for the sentiment label, right? Now this one I die cut with the stitch rectangles dies, which it makes it look so pretty. But if you don't have those, this one I just cut with a paper trimmer. I just wanted to show you it's not necessary. If you want to add some flair to it, and you have the rectangle dies, the stitch rectangle dies, then go for it. If you don't, then just use the paper cutter. It's perfectly fine. So we're going to just stamp the sentiment, and we're just going to use some black ink. I mean, you can use whatever color you want, but I like the black ink. The tuxedo black ink kind of stands out, and I like that. I'm a big fan of the tuxedo black. You can't really go wrong. All right, so we're going to use the stamp that says, the sentiment that says, hope you have the best birthday. All right. Now I have a stack of my, placemats, Stampin' Up! Placemats that's sort of like a cushion. These photopolymer stamps work best if you have some sort of cushion under it, a foam cushion or a stack of paper, a paper pad, something. It just gives a better image, that's all. All right, let's hope that this comes out okay. Let's see. Okay. Right? Good enough. All right, that's literally the only stamping we're going to be doing. How easy is that? All right, so now I am going to, reaching for my dimensionals. You're going to use some dimensionals to just pop it up. And we're going to just place that on the, we'll place that on the card. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to place it in the middle, but kind of over to the side. You see where I'm going with it. Okay. All right. Now, you'll see here I put it in the, I wanted to pop it up on dimensionals on purpose so I could, tuck the birdie in there behind it a little bit. All right, so let's put some dimensionals on the bird. I probably use way too many dimensionals on any of my projects. I'm like the dimensionals queen. I go through dimensionals super fast. All right. All right. And we'll just put that at the top. Just tuck a little flower kind of underneath the sentiment label a little bit. That's why I put the sentiment label on first before the bird. Okay. Now, I already cut some of the glimmer, shimmer butterflies from the Butterfly Brilliance dies. Because there was absolutely no need for you to have to look at me die cutting. But I gotta tell you, using this, I think it's the Pool Party, I'm pretty sure that's the color of it, is so shimmery. I just think it's just so pretty. It's hard to, there, you can tell a little bit, right? Look at how pretty it is. It's so shimmery. I love the color. So I'm just going to put a few dots right in the, right in the center. I'm not going to glue the whole thing. And then just adhere it kind of in an angle on the edge of the sentiment label. And hold it in place a little bit. Maybe pull it down. Yeah, I don't want it to cover the sentiment. Okay. All right. And then I have these Genial Gems, and they're in soft succulent and pale papaya. And they're in the they're in the annual catalog. So I put 2 pale papayas, since that's the color of the sentiment label, and I'm going to do the same with this one. 2 of the small ones. Okay, that's it. Quick. Done. The front is done. How nice, right? Not hard. So on the back, because there's no, unlike a typical card, there's nowhere to, unless you wanted to sign your name there, which you certainly can. But I wanted to give people the opportunity to be able to have something to write on the back. So let's see, what do I have already cut? Because of course I forgot to cut a piece that was for the back. Naturally. No, I don't want that. I want to mimic what I already did. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm going to do that. Get my paper cutter. And I'm going to need a piece of white cardstock as well. Okay. So for the back, I'm just going to do, let me see, what is this one? I'm going to do the 5 1/4, because this, well, no, wait, I'm going to do 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Oh, that's not going to fit, is it? Because I cut it smaller. All right, I need a piece that is, all right, so this one was cut at 5 by 3 1/4. So I need to cut it 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to do it at 4 no, wrong. 3 3/4. This side. 4 3/4. Yeah, the lengthwise, 4 3/4. Hey, I don't know if I'm confusing you. I'm confusing myself. So the short side was cut at 3 3/4. So I need to cut it at 3 1/2 to fit. Okay. All right. So that should fit way better. Look at that. Okay. So now that means that I need to cut my white cardstock. Let me cut this piece off. All right. So my white cardstock needs to be, I cut it at 4 3/4. That means I need to cut the lengthwise at 4 1/2 by 3 1/4 over here. Oops. There we go. That'll work. There we go. So now we'll glue that down. Okay. It just gives the card, I think, a nice, kind of a finished look. Again, you could die cut this piece with the rectangle dies if you wanted it to have a fancy look to it, because that's what I did with this one. I don't know if you can see the edges have the stitched edges, but this one, as you just saw, I just cut it with the paper trimmer. So it's just a matter of how fancy you want it to be, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having it just be plain versus, with the stitched edging. It's just a matter of how much you want to step up your card. So now you have the back of it that you can write your sentiment to the person. All right, and let me just show you. It will fit into the little packaging, the little pocket, just perfectly. All right, so let's decorate the outside of the pocket. Again, I had already pre-cut the butterflies. So all you're really going to do, and I die cut, here's what I die cut. I die cut a large one and sort of a medium one and then a smaller one because I wanted to step them like that, as you can see. We'll do them just like that. Like that. And then when we're done, we'll fluff their little wings. And it's just going to be a matter of just putting a little dab of glue in that center. That's it. You're gonna, you're not gonna glue the whole thing down. Just put some in the middle. And just hold it down. And even if you see a little bit of glue, kind of push out a little bit, that's all right because it'll dry clear. All right, so we'll do the second one. Hold it down just a little bit. All right, so for the third one, you probably can't tell, but the third one, I left a little bit of space and pushed this one up because I wanted to do the pool party sheer ribbon. So that's what I'm going to do with this one as well. Okay, so I'm going to push this little guy up kind of at the top. All right. Okay. And I'll show you. This is, I just took that off. So all you'll have to do is when you tie your, cut a length of the ribbon, right? And then tie it around. I'm not going to go through all of the cutting since I already have it done. Cut your little ribbon and then tie it around. And it's not going to have to be removed in order for the person to be able to get to the card. You just leave it there. Now, you're not going to need to tack it down or anything. It's just going to stay in place, like similar to a belly band, but it's not holding the card in place. So then you just put your little card in there, and you are done. Now I took the ribbon off of the other one, but it's so pretty. It's just so lovely. I just love the idea of it, and I want to give a shout out to Septeria 18 for her projects and giving me the inspiration for this one. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you're seeing, let me just show you what I'm going to be posting tomorrow that's completely different. I've made a couple of cards using the Memories and More card kits, which if you haven't seen it kind of gets lost in the catalog, but the Memories and More card kit is in the annual catalog, comes with 20 cards, pre-folded, pre-decorated cards. I'll show you what I have. So you get, let me take my little card kit stuff out. You get these cards that are, pre-decorated, pre-scored, and you would just fold them, right, and end up with a card. And then you get 20 coordinating envelopes for $10. $10 for 20 cards that pretty much are already made. I mean, and look, it's got the hand, and the flap of the envelope is using the hand penned, let me turn it, is the hand penned designer series paper. That's, you know, that's already pre-printed on the envelopes. So your inspiration is already halfway there with the card pre-printed with the decoration, and then you get the beautiful envelope that goes with it. But like I said, 20 cards, 20 envelopes for $10. So I decided with the hand-penned inspiration on the envelope, I went ahead and pulled out some hand-penned designer series paper and started to make some cards. I'm not going to go into detail. This one's an Easter card, as you can see, with a little egg that I just made myself. And then this one, little bumblebee with a little bumblebee charm from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. So I'm going to post these tomorrow. So if you like what you see, tune in tomorrow and I'll have a new video showing you how to make these cards. So I want to thank you for watching. Please also, if you like my channel, if you could hit the subscribe button below, that would be great. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye.